Video 10. Does solar electric system make economic sense? At least three options are available to analyze the economic costs and benefits of a solar electric system. Number 1. A comparison of the cost of electricity from solar electric systems with conventional power or some other renewable energy technology. Number 2. An estimate of return on investment. Number 3. A more sophisticated economic analysis tool known as total cost of ownership. Cost of electricity comparison. One of the simplest ways of analyzing the economic performance of a solar system is to compare the cost of electricity produced by a PV system to the cost of electricity from a conventional source such as the local utility. This is a 5-step process, 2 of which I have already discussed. The first step is to determine the average monthly electrical consumption of your home or business, preferably after incorporating conservation and efficiency measures. Second is to calculate the size of the system you will need to install to meet your needs. Third is to calculate the cost of the system. Fourth, after determining the cost of the system, calculate the output of the system over a period of 30 years, that is the expected lifetime of the system. Fifth, now estimate the cost per kilowatt hour by dividing the cost of the PV system by the total output. Return on investment. Another relatively simple method used to determine the cost effectiveness of a PV system is simple return on investment. Simple return on investment, as its name implies, the savings generated by installing a PV system expressed as a percentage of the investment. Simple ROI is calculated by dividing the annual dollar value of the energy generated by a PV or wind system by the cost of the system. A solar electric system that produces 6,000 kilowatt hour of electricity per year in an area where electricity sells at 9.5 cents per kilowatt hour generates $570 worth of electricity each year. So if the system costs $8,575 after rebates, the simple return on investment equals to around 6.6%. And if the utility charges 15 cents per kilowatt hour, 6,000 kilowatt hour of electricity would be worth $900, and the simple ROI will be 10.5%. The ROI is 10.5%. Given the state of the economy, both of these represent decent rates of interest. Even in good economic times, these are respectable ROIs. Weaknesses of economic analysis tool. Comparing the cost of electricity and return on investments are both simple tools, but both fail to take into account a number of economic factors. For example, both techniques fail to account for interest payments on loans that may be required to purchase a PV system. Interest payments will add to the cost of electricity produced by the system. For those who self-finance, for example by taking money out of savings, both tools fail to take into account these options. Total cost of ownership. This method, referred to as the total cost of ownership, allows you to compare the cost of a PV system to the total cost of electricity it will displace. Unlike the previous economic tools, this one takes into account numerous economic parameters, including initial costs, financial incentives, maintenance costs, rising costs of grid power, and another key element, the time value of money. The time value of money takes into account the fact that a dollar today is worth more than a dollar tomorrow. Economists refer to this as a discount factor. Alternative financing of PV systems. Not everyone has access to money required to purchase a PV system, even with incentives, or wants to incur that kind of debt. If you are one of these people, there are some alternative financing mechanisms that could still make your dreams of a PV system come true. That is, a power purchase agreement and leases. In power purchase agreement, a private company installs a solar electric system on a customer's home, mostly at their expense. They do require a down payment to help offset the cost of the system and installation, but the company owns and operates the system, selling the electricity generated by the system to the homeowner at a lower rate, usually a rate that increases much more slowly than the utility rate for the duration of the lease, typically around 18 years. Homeowners benefit because they incur no upfront cost while enjoying lower electric bills and living a more environmentally friendly lifestyle. They also own a residence that will probably sell more quickly when the time comes to put it on the market. Another option is lease. Once again, the PV system is installed by a private company and the system is leased to them. Customers that lease PV system typically end up paying slightly less for electricity. The lease also guarantees a fixed rate for the term of agreement. Lease programs and power purchase agreements are really quite similar. The main difference is that in lease programs there is typically no down payment. In this video you've seen that there are several ways to save money on a PV system. Efficiency measures lower the initial size and cost of a PV system, saving huge sums of money. Tax incentives and rebates also lower the cost. Remember, however, economics is not the only metric on which we base our decision. Energy independence, environmental values, reliability, the cool factor, the bragging rights and the fun value, and other factors also play a prominent role in our decision to invest in renewable energy. Here ends video 10, Solar electric systems make economic sense.